the idea that we had for this trip, and especially for this meeting today, besides copying great coffees about our different projects, is to share with you some information about why regenerative agriculture is very important for the coffee industry. People get very excited about varietals, about processing methods, about new releases, but a few ask questions about the future of coffee. You know, people believe that coffee is gonna be forever because they haven't been in our countries. If you haven't had the chance to come to Colombia or to Costa Rica or to Brazil or to any coffee producing country, you should, because you're gonna see two things. One, you're gonna see beautiful coffees and you're gonna be able to eat the cherries and have fun. And on the other side, you're gonna see all the consequences that climate change is having in our soils. So Josh, thank you for organizing this for us. I wanted this to be a small event, a small gathering, a small conversation between us. You know, the idea is first to share with you the first is to share with you some information about what I mentioned, and the second is to cup some of our most beautiful coffees from Colombia, from Panama, from and from Mexico, which is something that is exciting. I was telling Rafa that we are now sourcing coffees from Mexico, which is our new origin, and the idea is to tell you who we are, what we do, and how we are now mitigating climate change, or at least proposing a new change for the whole industry. This background that you see is our hotel in La Palma. You see these small cabins, but beautiful. Nikki knows exactly what I'm talking about. This is a hotel that is in Colombia. It's in Bogota, which is, it's not in Bogota, it's very close to Bogota, which is the capital. It's 2 hours away. And this is one of the things that we are most proud of, and is that in the middle of all our coffee varietals, the Cedras and the Geishas, and some SL28s, we have these cabins so that people like you or coffee enthusiasts or, you know, your parents or like anyone can stay in the middle of the coffee farms and learn about coffee. Yeah, we're good. So basically, guys, I want to tell you some stuff about like who we are, what we do, which projects we represent, what's gonna be like our future for this year or our plans for this year. I'm gonna tell you about the future of coffee and why it starts with soil. SWS is our new like normal or our new proposal for this year. How can roasters participate? What is biodiversal? And how we are creating impact in Colombia for now. Yeah, that's the, yeah. So basically, we are green coffee exporters, but we are also producers, and now we are importers. We are a lot of stuff. We curate coffee and we source coffees from producers, and we also produce our own coffees. We offer as many people in the industry full transparency and full traceability about our coffees. We represent top of the line coffee producers and coffee projects, which is something I'm going to explain in the next slide. And the most important thing is that we invest in our soils to help preserve our planet. Josh. Yeah, this is the best thing that I mean, it's one of the best things that I can share, because many people, and you're not gonna believe this, don't know where is Colombia. I was testing people in the US, like showing like the Google Maps, and they didn't know where was Colombia. The question is, do you know where is Colombia? Where is Colombia? Where in South America? Where in South America? Yeah?
It's in the Caribbean, right?
Huh?
It's in the Caribbean?
It's in the Caribbean, yeah. So Colombia is a country that shares ocean. It is the only country in South America that has Pacific coast and Atlantic coast. So we are in the corner. If you think about South America, we are in the upper, like, northwest of South America, of the continent. This is Colombia. We have 32 departments, sorry, in the country. Here is the Amazonian. We share borders with Peru and Brazil and Venezuela in the north. And basically, what you see laid out in the different colors is basically the companies that we own and represent, which is beautiful. We started 10 years ago, or now 11 years ago, with La Palma El Tucan. That is a project that is located near Bogota, like 2 hours away if you drive by car from Bogota. It was a farm, or it is a farm. It's a 20-hectare farm that was purchased by Felipe and Elisa. They're really good friends of Dakota, John, and Andrea and the team. Basically, what these guys did 10 years ago was they wanted to change the status quo of how coffee was purchased in Colombia. Coffee in Colombia usually is purchased in parchment. This means that producers, when a producer has let's say a 1.5 hectare, or what's 1.5 hectare, Dakota, in acres? Like 5?
I think it's like
4?
maybe, yeah, like 3 or 4.
Like 4 acres. It's a very small farm. So imagine how our model works. A producer needs to grow, let's say, a traditional varietal, Castillo, Colombia, or or Catura, as an example. These people, they were taught by a very big institution in Colombia that is called the FNC and Cenicafe. This institution, which is the biggest in the world, in the coffee world, it's an organization that was founded in 1927, more or less, and this institution was created in order to represent the values, ideas, and the industry in the coffee sector in Colombia. So basically, this organization was part of the government, and they had a committee and a kind of like a government inside the country that was representing all the departments and many producers in Colombia. How many producers do we have in Colombia? More than 500,000. That if you multiply for every family member, at least 2 million people in Colombia depend on coffee. Yeah? So basically, this organization was created to protect and defend their interest, because there was no one behind them. There was no technical assistant. There were no agronomists. No one was taking care about coffee growers before 1927, and from 1927 until now, this has been the biggest organization in the world that has defended and protected their needs and has represented them outside the world. That's why you know that Colombia, or you have heard that Colombian coffee is the smoothest and best coffee in the world, is because the FNC has worked and paid millions of dollars in marketing and in technical assistance so that coffee growers produce good coffee. However, there is an issue with this, and is that every single coffee grower in Colombia that has a small farm need to cover the following steps. Harvest, production, harvesting, fermentation, wet milling of the coffee, and drying. So it's a lot of steps that producers need to cover in order to dry the coffee and take that coffee to the cooperative or the purchase point. If you multiply that coffee times 500,000, the quality is going to be extremely uneven, because each producer is going to take care of the coffee in a very different way, because they receive different information, or maybe the soil in X department or Y, it behaves differently. So basically, what we decided to do 11 years ago to answer why we wanted to change the status quo of the coffee industry in Colombia is that instead of purchasing pergamino or parchment, we decided to go back some steps, and we decided to buy cherries from the producers. Yeah? Why? Because we wanted to give them a hand in terms of steps. We wanted to save time and hard work from them, and also extra costs, and we wanted to take more control of the quality of the cherry. If you have the cherry in your farm and you have, let's say, a washing station or a processing facility where you can ferment your coffees in a systematic and with protocols, your results are going to be much better, rather than just using a tank for fermentation and doing some, I would say, empirical tests in the farm. We, as La Palma, we decided to knock doors in the different producers' farms, and we invited them 11 years ago to buy their cherries. not their parchment, not their green coffee, the cherry. So they thought it was a good idea. So we partnered with 100 families, or 96, more or less, yeah, 100. And we decided to buy the cherries from them. For what? To build our famous program that is called the Neighbors and Crops. You guys at Onyx have been serving our coffees for, Nikki, like 8 years, or La Palma. This is a fun fact. When Felipe bought the farm, John was the first customer. He was one of the first customers that went to the farm and purchased and partnered with Felipe. In a way, they're very good friends. And he was one of the first believers of La Palma El Tucan. Yeah? After La Palma, not after La Palma, after this program was launched, we decided, so it's easy, or straightforward. We bought the cherries, we brought the cherries to the farm, we processed those cherries, we did all the quality control of the cherries, and we still do it. We process those coffees and we dry them and export them to the different markets. What's the benefit of taking more control of the cherry and of the processing methods? That we can increase, or we increased, the SEA score of the final cup. So if you had let's say a Castillo or a Típica, like a very traditional varietal that was maybe 84 points on an SEA score, like level, we could bring that coffee up to 87 or 88 as a microlot, which was at the end very good for producers because we were giving added value back in cash for them, because customers were paying, instead of $4, they were paying $9 a pound. $9. Because the score, the mission, the vision, the marketing, because everything has marketing, everything, like our idea was bringing added value to the coffee sector and to producers. Any questions so far? All good? So La Palma had these neighbors and crops, and also while Felipe and the team were purchasing the cherries from the producers around the region, they decided to also grow special varietals in the farm. So I'm mentioning so far two categories, the neighbors and crops, and the second one is the states and varietals. The state and varietals are the coffees that we produce in our farm, mainly for competition matters. So what Dakota receives is basically our geishas, our cidras, you guys cup, and if you like the coffees, let's say you release like an echelon, just to give you like an example of where these coffees like can fit on the portfolio or in the coffee program. It could be like an echelon or a very high-end or special edition for roasters. So it's kind of our upgraded version or upgraded category of coffees. Then, just to clarify, these high-end coffees were produced very close to the cabin. So if you woke up like in a beautiful morning, you could see either the cidras or the geishas. Those are the coffees that are have been produced in La Palma for many years. Fun fact, the last release that Big Face did in collaboration with you guys was using one of our geishas from La Palma El Tucan. And we had Jimmy Butler and who else, Nikki? We had a prop and other like artists that wanted to learn about coffee. Usually, these beautiful people, they always think about La Palma when they want to bring like people that want to learn about the industry, because we represent something different. We represent, of course, added values, we represent quality, and we represent a different model than the usual one that works in Colombia. So La Palma then, after a few years, replicated into two different projects, or two additional projects. Del Agua Coffee Paradise, which is near the northern coast. So you see Panama and Central America, basically, where you see these like these coffee growers in these pictures. That's Pacific Ocean, and La Palma, like north, that's Atlantic. That is separated by Panama. So Del Agua borders the Atlantic Ocean. Hi, how are you? It's a project that is located near the Atlantic Ocean. So if you are lucky and you are in a sunny day, you can stand in the coffee farm and you can see the ocean, because it's on top of a mountain. It's very famous for party. There's a lot of party, like in a lot of hostels, like in all that area. A lot of indigenous communities, a lot of cacao, a lot of cannabis too. It's a very mystical place. Yeah, it's a very special place, and we decided to buy a farm in order to replicate the same model, which is neighbors and crops and state and varietals. So basically, we do the same. What is Rafa? What is del agua in English? Like literally, what is del agua in English? Of the water, yeah. Or from the water, yeah. Basically, del agua, it's a project that takes care of the hydric resources. What does this mean? That we don't use water to wash our coffees. What does this mean? That the coffees that we produce in the farm are 100%, or let's say 90% natural processed coffees and 10% honey. We don't use any water for processing our coffees or fermenting our coffees. The good thing about all of this is that we're gonna cup all of these coffees, so you are gonna be able to connect all of this information. We buy cherries from the producers in the region of Sierra Nevada. This is called Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. And we also produce high-end varietals like geishas, mochas, SL28s at the farm. And then we talk about CCD, which is a project in Panama that is near the region of Boquete. I'll be with Dakota in the next few weeks, cupping some coffee, sourcing, visiting the farm. It's gonna be my first time in Panama. I've never been to Panama, so it's gonna be exciting because all of this marketing behind the Panama geisha and all of this like about the industry. I'll be able to just go to our farm, to our patio, and share some time with some of our customers. CCD, just rounding this conversation up, it's a project that is doing the same as the other two, buying cherries from the producers. However, until now, we haven't produced coffee in CCD. That's the only difference. That for the CCD, we source the two programs, the neighbors and also the varietals. That's the difference between CCD and the other two projects. However, you see that logo that says Flying Pumas? That's gonna be our new farm. So we bought a Dakota, 160 hectares in acres. He's my guy. Huh? Let's say like 400 acres.
428.3.
Thank you. It's a big farm. We're gonna visit that farm in a few weeks with the guy in the back. This is our farm, so this is like exciting news. Our first harvest is gonna come next year, but we're gonna have some coffees that are being produced by us. It's our new farm. It's called the Flying Pumas. Don't ask me why, but it's a cool name. Yeah. So it's a pretty big farm. So this is gonna be our first like big step that we're gonna take into the Panamanian market, because before we didn't produce coffees. CCD was or is only processing coffees. So basically we do anaerobics and other processes that I'm gonna explain to you when we cup. But with the Flying Pumas, we are now like part of the game, like 100%, because we're gonna be producing. Finally, and which is what I wanna transmit you in this conversation, is how we represent these projects, because if you think about each company, Del Agua, CCD, Flying Pumas, and La Palma, you would be thinking about different companies. And yes, like in fact, these are different companies. They have their own like sourcing team, quality team. However, because we saw that many people wanted to buy different coffees for one like big operation, let's say you guys at Onyx, we decided to create Equation Coffee. Equation Coffee is the company that basically is in charge of the business and of the commercial side and the logistics. So basically what we do as Equation is that we represent these projects exclusively all around the world. So if Dakota wants to buy Del Agua, but also CCD and La Palma, he needs to go through me, only through me. So I will be sending all the samples and doing like just rounding up the business, which is much easier because it's just one communication between me representing all of this and you guys. So Equation basically is in charge of doing the logistics from Colombia and Panama, and also, which is very exciting, 2 years ago we started importing coffees in the US. So we created a company called Equation Coffee LLC, which is the company that is in charge of bringing the coffees to the US and just storing them in different warehouses and doing releases for customers. Yes? Also, as Equation, as an exporting company, we are also sourcing coffees from Colombia. Different coffees like regionals, more volume coffees like decaf coffees, regional coffees, some microlots from different associations or small groups in order to bring more options and grow our portfolio for customers. So let's say if a guy calls me, let's say your customer Rafa in Houston, maybe in a few years he wants to start roasting, he reaches out and says, Juan, I need to build my coffee program, so I want to do a monarch or a tropical weather, and I also want to release some single origin. So that's why we decided to bring some volume coffees in order to be able to provide different coffees for different needs. So if we have like a, let's say an 84-point regional coffee, we can also have a very, let's say, high-end 89 plus Sidra. And the good thing about all of this is that we can consolidate a palette for a customer in order to be able to cover those specific needs. That's why we decided to work on some volume stuff. And right now, just to give you some quick numbers, our idea for this year is to bring 10 full containers to the US with all of these coffees. La Palmas, Del Aguas, CCDs, Equations, and in the future, the Flying Pumas. However, just like parenthesis, we do not bring high-end coffees by container, on a container, to the US because we risk a lot of the quality. So when we like close a business, let's say of a geisha or a sidra or a special varietal, we usually ship those coffees by air because it's quicker. It's a very expensive coffee, so we don't want to like have to like face any like quality issues or any problem with the coffee. So that's the only case where we ship those kind of coffees by air. All the rest are gonna be shipped by container. Now, giving like a highlight to Rafa, we started just our operation in Mexico with an association that is called Cafeólogo. Our business partner, his name is Jesus. Yeah. Chiapas. Yeah. So we opened our operation in Mexico 3 weeks ago, more or less. Luis and some people from our team, they went to Mexico. They shook hands with the guys from the association. They checked the numbers and thumbs up. Like we are gonna start to import our coffees from Mexico in the next few weeks, or at least our first container. So it's exciting. So it would be Equation Colombia, Equation Mexico, La Palma in Colombia, Del Agua in Colombia. Dakota, I don't know if I told you, but we are also starting Del Agua El Salvador. So we are going to start sourcing natural coffees from El Salvador just for the Del Agua project. Remember that Del Agua doesn't use like any water for processing the coffees. And pretty much that's it. Any questions so far? All good? Perfect. Josh. Now, it starts with soil. It starts with soil. You can keep going. So basically, besides talking about all of these beautiful projects and all of these coffees that we have been working on for years, this is an initiative that started 2 years ago, which you guys at Onyx have been supporting a lot, and it's basically bringing good quality coffees, yes, bringing transparency with the coffees, yes, but also supporting a program that is in charge of taking care of the soil. Basically, what we are doing with this program in Colombia is bringing life to the soil. How? I'm gonna explain you how. But basically, what we have realized, or what we realized last year, which was a really tough year for our company, is that two things happened. The first one is that we were in a red market because we were bringing regional coffees and volume coffees. So we were competing with many importing companies that were, trying to be part of the game in the US. And on the other side, we were selling very expensive coffees. And you guys went through a recession, like all the US, us in Colombia too. Things were very expensive, and they are still, but people were very conservative with their purchases. So they were not buying enough like high-end coffees for their operations. They wanted to buy just volume. So we were kind of lost, and we said, okay, what's in the middle? Like, what if people are selling cheap coffees, and there are some other people that are selling expensive coffees like us? What's in the middle? What should we cover? And we said, let's cover climate change, because we started reading about what's going to happen in a few years, and everything is going to be messed up, and I'm going to show you why. But not only the problem, but I'm going to share with you also what's our solution or our proposal to make the coffee industry, or to extend the life of the coffee industry for more years. Josh. This is an article that you should read. It's from the National Geographic. If you Google climate change, coffee industry, National Geographic, you're gonna get to this article. Basically, what this article is showing is basically what is gonna happen with the coffee farms or with the coffee land by 2050. If you see the coffee belt, which is from the Tropic of Capricorn to the Tropic of Cancer, maybe like less spread out, you're gonna see that all of these coffees or all of these colors are the regions that right now are producing coffee. Yeah? So you can see Colombia, you can see Mexico, like south of Mexico, you can see Brazil, you can see Africa, Indonesia, Vietnam, the north of Australia. Basically, what this image is showing is that by 2050, all the regions that are laid out in pink are not going to produce coffee. By 2050, no coffee. Yes? And you can see that is a lot. What's going to happen with the zones in a, let's say, like skin color? There's not going to be any change, so they're going to be fine. And the ones in green, they're going to start producing coffee, which is kind of funny, because if you think about it, the coffee belt in the future is going to expand. So the countries in the north, like you guys, like Louisiana, like if you go to Louisiana or you go to like the Florida, like in the north, or Georgia, you're going to have coffee. It's going to be a possibility for you guys in a few years to produce coffee here in the US. There are some coffee that is being grown in California, but it's not very common. And also countries like Argentina or South Africa or Australia and some parts of China, they're gonna be able to produce coffee too. So, like, why? There are two main reasons. The first one is because temperatures are rising in the equator line. So where we are right now, like where we are in Colombia, things are getting hotter. And the second reason is that rainfall is increasing a lot. So it's raining all year round, everywhere in Colombia right now. So what happens with the trees? What do you think, Rafa?
A lot of water is not good.
Yes, what else?
Messes up the cherries too.
Yes, that's a good point. So basically when it rains too much, what happens with the rain is that the rain removes the flower of a coffee tree. So what happens when the flower is removed? There is no fruit. You see, coffee is a fruit. Rain removes the flower does not produce the fruit it needs to turn into coffee after a few years. So what this is causing on the coffee lands or on the coffee trees is that our harvests are being very, very or extremely uneven. If you ask me when is the best time to come to Colombia, I would love to check La Palma main harvest. There is no main harvest right now. I mean, in theory, like mid-year should be the time of the year where most coffee can grow from the trees or can be harvested. But right now, as there is green coffee or ripe cherries and ripe cherries, there's a lot of stuff going on every tree. There's not a particular time where a coffee picker can grab the cherries from the tree, because every week the coffee trees are producing cherry because of this issue of having a lot of rain during the year. Yeah? So basically what we have faced, I mean, there are many consequences. Like our yields have been going down like 40% last year. We used to produce for the Neighbors and Crops program like 800 bags. Right now, 400 or 500. Yeah. So basically what we have been doing, unfortunately, and I'm talking about the producer side, is that we have been buying coffees from other regions. In the past, we were only focused in Cundinamarca, near Bogota, from La Palma. Now we are just driving to other places because what La Palma region is producing is not enough to fulfill the quantities that we need to export to the markets. Yeah. What examples? Huila and Nariño are examples of regions that we have been reaching out because also producers in Cundinamarca, they are switching from coffee to another product that is called foliage. Do you know what is foliage? No, no clue? Foliage is basically the leaves that flower companies buy to put in the bouquets. So if you go to a plant shop or you want to buy some flowers from, let's say, Walmart, and if you want to buy some roses, the foliage is like the greens. Hi, my friend, that are around the roses. So it's like the complement of the roses. So many producers that were in coffee are now switching to foliage because they just throw a bunch of chemicals to the soil, and there's a lot of foliage that is growing in the farms. Yeah, which I don't judge. I mean, at the end, it's well paid. The floor, you don't need to cup anything. You don't need to do quality control anything. You just need to grow and grow and grow leaves, and you receive good money. Like I'm telling you, good money. Better than coffee right now, in terms of like quality versus quantity. You know, like that, like the relationship between both. So equation, what it's doing is two main things. So it starts with soil. It's our program that is focused on helping producers to switch from monocultures to polycultures. In Colombia, and Elika knows this very well, there's a lot of like diversity in the soils. So you can see coffee, you can see plantain, you can see guava trees, but also you see a lot of weeds, like they grow from like everywhere. The issue with weeds is that weeds are not economically sustainable for producers because they cannot do anything with those weeds. They just need to chop them and try to get rid of them. Some of them are like they bring pests and diseases to coffees. So basically what we are proposing is that, or we are not proposing but already doing, is that we are helping producers in Cundinamarca to grow other stuff besides coffee. So if they have coffee and they are producing, let's say, 5,000 kilograms of cherry, we are also teaching them to produce other stuff. An example, red kidney beans, and also you can explain this better, Dakota or Elika, is the achira. You know the achira? The achira is is like a ginger. It's like it looks very similar to a yucca, and it's basically a rhizome that is grown in the soil to produce some biscuits, some yellow biscuits from the Huila region, which they are very popular. Basically, there is a very easy process to harvest this product, and we decided basically to grow this product in producers' farms because it was very easy, the same as red kidney beans. The harvest time is short, it's like 9 months, and the application of fertilizer is super easy. So basically what we are doing is, okay, or we are telling them, we are gonna buy your coffee, but we're gonna teach you on how you can become like more empowered of giving like better use to your farm. Yes? So we are not giving them money because some people say, you know what, Juan, I'm gonna give you some like more money so that you give more money to producers. I'm not sure if giving more money to a producer that doesn't know how to invest in his or her farm is the smartest solution to benefit his economical or his or her livelihood on a long-term basis. So basically, there are two main reasons. The first one is that we are, of course, fully committed to mitigating climate change. Polycultures increase the amount of carbon sequestered from the environment. This is not invented. You can take notes of this. There is a very interesting documentary, and it explains the theory behind why the agricultural systems in the world can make a really great, can have a really positive impact in climate change. To make things easy for you, what happens is that when you have diversity in the soils and where you have better root systems around the farm, the carbon that is in the environment that is produced by factories and cars and like all these external sources can be grabbed from the environment. So that this is why trees are very important in the cities. And if you translate that into a farm, the more diversity, the more root systems, and the better, like the more life you have around, the more carbon you can grab from the environment. That's our main reason, and that's the main reason we are like teaching or sharing with roasters so that they can promote this idea to the final consumers. Because, I mean, if this story is, like if we don't spread this story to the final consumers at the end, it's just another promise of how Equation or other companies is helping to mitigate climate change. So this is what this is why I want to make things easy for like in this conversation. And the second reason is that we want to allow producers to have an extra source of income. Some customers have told me during these weeks that it's very similar to the phrase that says, "Don't give man fish, but teach him how to fish." This is the same. We are receiving money from different people, roasters, importers around the world, and this is going to be explained later, because we are taking these funds to execute and develop programs as educational programs, and we're giving producers products so that they learn how to become independent in their farms. Yes? And this is the question. You know, many people ask us how to participate. You guys are already participating through Onyx, because when you buy coffees from us, and I'm not talking about La Palma, Del Agua, or CCDs, when you buy volume coffees or single origin microlots from Equation, you are already supporting. And I'm gonna just open a parenthesis. When you go to a grocery store, and it has happened to me, you are in the, let's say, the almond section, and you see like these planters, like this industrial brand that you can buy for cheaper price, and then you see a section that is organic or fair trade or rainforest. Like it has like a label that is promising something. What? Better, like more money for producers, or better management of the soils when we talk about organics, or the fair trade, like it's like fairer price or better like income for producers. But at the end, if you decide to buy that package of almonds that is more expensive, you get out of the grocery store and you get home and you say, I'm saving the world, you know, I'm helping someone. But at the end, you don't know what's happening. At the end, everything that, like those $4 that you added to your purchase in the Walmart or the Trader Joe's, are just lost in the air, yeah? Which is one of the main issues that I just mentioned before. Is you think that giving more money to a producer is the solution to mitigate climate change, or to increase their income, or to give them more opportunities for the long-term future? I'm sure it's not. Yeah? So many people, many roasters, many people in the industry, they ask us, how can we participate? If you are telling me that I am like the protagonist or the person that has the power to make a change in Colombia or in Mexico in the near future, how I, as a producer, as a roaster, sorry, can I support the program? And it's super straightforward. Every transaction that we sell to a roaster, let's say a regional coffee or a decaf coffee or a single origin microlot from Equation, already includes a small premium of 5 cents per pound, which was 3 in the past, but for this year we thought on increasing the premium to 5 cents because we want to generate a better impact. And basically, as I mentioned before, the money per pound, or the 5 cents per pound that are invested, go directly to the investment fund that is impacting small-scale farmers at origin. Who is taking care of this? Biodiversal. You remember Elika, the factory, when we went in La Palma? Basically, Biodiversal is a company, it's our sister company, that is in charge of two main things. What they do is they produce and sell organic fertilizer, and also they execute and develop different programs for producers around the region, which is something that I want to clarify. For example, if you guys at Onyx, you buy a container of Huila or Tolima and you add some decaf and some microlots from Cauca, let's say there are different coffees, what is going to happen with those 5 cents per pound is that, like, unfortunately, they are not going to, like, we are not going to be able to directly support those coffee growers from Tolima, Cauca, Huila, Nariño, because at the moment we don't have the infrastructure to do so. What happens? If we take the 5 cents and we take them to the place where we already have the factory, where we have the agronomists and the team that already is like taking care of the people like face to face in their farms, we can be more efficient with the money that you are already providing to us. That's the main reason why we are taking the money from the coffees that we buy from different departments and like doing all the applications where we are where we have the farm and where we have been doing our work for some years now. Our idea for the future, of course, is to have a biodiversal factory in Tolima, one in Huila, one in Panama also. But right now, all of our efforts are being focused in the region of Cundinamarca, where La Palma is located. What do we want to do? We want to diversify the crops of the producers in Cundinamarca. We want to decrease the use of chemical fertilizers. Remember that when you have more diversity, you can use less chemical fertilizers to create the same impact. If you just have a monoculture and you use a lot of fertilizer, you can obtain great coffee, but as you said, Rafa, all the floor is going to be eroded. This is what happens. I don't want to give examples, but Brazil has this issue, or even here in the US, where when you go to a corn field, you can see that the corns are extremely huge and pretty and shiny, but the soils around are completely eroded. We have this in La Palma. We have, you remember Licada, the farm, the lot where the hens were eating the soil? We are doing some trials with hens so that they eat organic matter from the soil, but what we found is that they were eating too much. So they killed the soil, the hens, by just, picking, just biting the ground. So we decided to change that model, but yeah, an example of chemical fertilizers is what I just mentioned. The third thing is that we are improving the organic matter because we have better root systems and we can provide more nutrients to the soil. And at the end, we're gonna give the possibility to let producers earn more money. If we tell producers that we wanna mitigate climate change, they're gonna laugh at our faces because they don't care about that. I'm being transparent with you. What they want at the end is to receive more cash, to pay the bills, and to have a good quality of life. That's basically what we as a company need to promise producers, and is, if you want cash right now, you can go to a cooperative or to a purchase point and you can get immediate cash. If you want to work with La Palma and Biodiversal, we're gonna give you cash, but not in hand, but you're gonna make your own cash with everything we're gonna teach you, yeah, during the months, let's say 2 or 3 months. Josh. Ooh. This is I took this picture in our visit when we visited one of the neighbors. So we have a program in Biodiversal where everything started, that is the warm bed program. So when we were purchasing cherries from the producers during the first 4 years, we taught some of them how to make compost. So besides buying the coffee, we were lending them or giving them the opportunity to make the compost with the California worms so that they could sell that compost back to us. So now you can see the circular economy on how we work. We buy coffee from them, we give them the worm beds, they produce the compost, they pay for the worm beds while they are producing the compost, and then they sell the compost back to us. Because the compost is one of the main ingredients that we use to produce our organic fertilizer. Yeah? This is beautiful because this used to have, let's say 4 weeks before this picture was taken, this had a lot of manure, pig urine. It smelled terrible. But after 4 weeks, look what the worms did. They cleaned the soil by eating the soil and the organic matter, and they converted that soil into this beautiful ingredient that in Colombia is called humus. I know that humus here is a different thing, but yeah, it's in Colombia it's called the humus or abono. That's the name in Spanish. But basically, what I want to transmit you guys is that Biodiversal, in this specific program, they are the vehicle that is in charge of transferring the funds, the ones that we are receiving from customers, to execute these educational programs and tools to thrive in the rural areas with the help of all the growers that are around the region. Just a quick explanation about Biodiversal. We are a regenerative agriculture startup focused on coffee lands, helping producers. We were established in Bogota. If you go to La Palma, you can see that the factory is next to the farm as soon as you get in. Yeah. So this basically starts with Salt Premium is our way right now to support the belief of helping producers, and the most important thing, finding a very suitable way and an easy way on seeing how can we contribute to mitigate climate change. That's basically the proposal. Yeah. Some numbers, or some like the step by step. Like I just wanted to cover it again. We take the 5 cents. 5 cents, to give you numbers, represent 3.86 USD per bag. Like we work on 35 kg bags. You can see our equation bags in the basement, or some of them. We basically collect the fund. We add those funds to the fund, or these resources to the big fund that Biodiversal is conducting. So basically, what we do with that money is that we, of course, identify farmers in the region. We do field analysis and soil measurement, because not every farm behaves the same way. If I go to Rafa's farm or Elika's, maybe your needs are gonna be more focused towards red kidney beans, and yours to Canadulis or to Achira. And we are looking this year to grow our portfolio to other products. Also, like we want to include sheep in the farms as another option of income for producers. We also yeah, basically after that we work with the family, so we provide access to agricultural lands, and we supervise the crop evolution, which is something that is being asked by many people, is how do you guys measure your results? If you gave me this example of the fair trade and these certificates, how are you guys doing this different? And it's basically that our team is conducting already like GPS mapping, and they have a team of agronomists that are taking care on a weekly basis on the results that producers are like yeah, of the product that producers are like harvesting and producing in their farms. Also, something that we're gonna start doing is that we're gonna start providing our customers, like you, reports. So basically, if you guys bought a half container or 3/4 of a container, we're gonna share with you what that quantity represents on the impact that you guys are generating with the purchase. This is gonna be a very straightforward PDF with the results, with some numbers, so that you guys understand where that money or that extra money that you are paying is ending on the, or is doing in the Colombian soils. Yeah? What are the outcomes? We increased the net income by 20 to 25%, or that's what we have been seeing during the last years. There is one or more agroecological business developed in the producers' farms. There is also a growth in the organic matter, so the life of the soil is increasing by 0.4%. And of course, we want to bring this number up this year. When farms become more organic, you can obtain better numbers. But unfortunately, this number is still low because producers are still putting a lot of chemicals to the soil, yeah, which is something that we want to change. And at the end, we are adding a new fruit production system in their farms so that they can sell coffee, yes, not only to us, but to other farms if they want, or to other exporting companies, but also they have new knowledge. So they know how to do coffee, but also they know how to grow other stuff. Yes? You have any questions so far? Am I being clear with everything? Okay. So, yeah, okay, this is, I don't want to just cover each like small like diagram that or symbol that we have here. This is just a quick like layout of the results that we presented last year to the board of directors. We involved 67 families last year. Our goal for this year is to impact 1,000 families. We have been working with the compost that I just mentioned to you, the achira, which is the canna edulis, and with the red kidney beans. You can see some numbers of the families that we worked with, the number of beds, the number of tons of waste used for the warm beds. These are just some insights on every product that we used. What is coming this year is that we want to work with ships, coffee fertilizer. We want to produce coffee fertilizer, which is very similar to the vermicompost. We want to keep working with the beans. We want to include banana and cocoa or cacao in the farms. And we want to work with another type of bean that is called string bean. What's our idea? Just to give you numbers, 125K USD, which converts, if you think about number of containers that we want to do this year, so 10 for the US and 50 worldwide. So basically the goal of Equation Coffee this year, between us as Mexicans now and Colombians, is to sell people around the world 60 full containers of coffee with regionals, decaf, and also high-end coffees, because when you are able to sell more expensive coffees, you need to sell less quantity. So our idea is to grow and grow and grow. And if we sell this year 60 containers of coffee, we are going to be able to collect the 125K that we want to return to producers through Biodiversal. Yes? Okay? That was all, guys. If you have any questions, please let me know. We're gonna start cupping. If you want to, can you stay? If you can stay for the cupping, and all of you guys, you're super invited. We have some of our best coffees here from Equations. We have some Mexicos. We have some Del Aguas, La Palmas, CCDs. We have a big bunch of coffees where you're gonna be able to connect our quality, our mission and vision with everything that I said here. Needless to say that I'm super happy to be here. Like right now, it's a privilege to be here with you guys, with the team. It's very common that you guys come like to Colombia. I've seen Dakota in Bogota maybe 4 or 5 times. Josh has never been in Colombia. Nikki has been maybe one time or two times. I mean, these guys come every day, and it's an honor always to host them, but I feel very special to be in this opportunity here with you guys. I love the US, I love the food, I love everything. I have family here, not in Arkansas, but in the US. And coming for, like, traveling all around the US because of coffee is extremely special, you know? Coffee can take you to amazing places, so this is one of them, and I'm happy for that. Okay? Thank you.